everyone, welcome to another podcast of Voice of Red Hackle, a podcast by the Cadets, for the Cadets and to the Cadets.
Celebrating the NCC Day, which is observed on the fourth Sunday of November every year, Voice of Red Hackle has come up with a special series of podcasts to show what NCC has to offer to the India and how Amrit Kal ki NCC is leading towards Amrit Kal.
Today, we have with us a very special guest, Colonel Vijayant Thapar, father of Captain Vijyant Thapar, Vir Chakra. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So, can you please tell us about Captain Vijyant Thapar's childhood in army, family, and how he molded his personality?
Well, first of all, I would like to compliment all of you
Thank you so
for
much.
this wonderful initiative of starting a podcast, because this is an expression of your ideas and thoughts to everyone else. So it's a very good idea, and I wholeheartedly congratulate all of you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Now, coming to Vijayant, for me it is very important to tell you that he was the fourth generation army officer. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so much of what you are asking, it came to him automatically. When he was born, there were tanks, there were guns, there were soldiers, the rifles, all around him to start with. So that's a little bit of a difference, and his childhood was always in cantonments, always in open areas, always outdoor. So that reflected in his life later on when he became an officer.
Okay. Sir, as we know, Captain Vijayant was an alumni of Khalsa College of Delhi Directorate. So, sir, can you please tell us about what was the motivation for joining him to the NCC and what was the impact of NCC on him?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you that I didn't even know that he's joined the NCC. It so happened that he was preparing for the NDA. And in his preparation for the NDA, he was required to study particularly tough subjects like maths and science. And he was habituated to sitting with me and studying. So that was a bad habit, but that's how it was. When he grew into a young man, he wanted, like we are sitting on this table, sit that side, I will sit this side, and then we will, I had to praise him every now and then he would proceed further. But unfortunately at that time, I was posted to a far off place in Assam, and he was left all alone, to find his way. That is where the difficulty arose. And somewhere in between, he thought that it is becoming too much for him, and he could not make it to the NDA. And that was a big setback for him. And the lesson for all of you is that setbacks are a part of life. There is no life in which there is no setback at all. But how quickly you get up from that setback and get going back to your aim, that is what is more important. And that's what he did. As soon as this results came out, he locked himself up for 2 days in his own room, and then his mother very tenderly attended to him and told him, nothing is lost. You appear for the IMA, and that will give you some time to stay with us also. You have not stayed with us at all. And you will catch up with those boys who have joined the NDA now, and you will once again be a group together. So that's what he agreed, and then he went and joined the NCC. And his love for the uniform, one way or the other, the uniform was very, very intense. He always wanted to be a uniformed guy. So next to the army, next to the IMA, next to the NDA, NCC was there. So he joined the NCC, and he wanted to excel in the NCC. And that was a channel for him to go into the army. That's why he joined the NCC.
So, as we know that NCC aims character building and motivating cadets to do social service and join armed forces. So how do you think that NCC helped Captain Vijyant Thapar?
Well, I would say that half his training for the IMA was completed with the NCC, because rest he has been in a soldierly atmosphere all his life. So therefore, whatever training he got in the NCC, he took it so seriously, very seriously, and he got a good position also. The Chief Minister has written about him in a register in the house. And well, I have got this picture. You can see this picture of Vijayant with his battalion commander. So, in his imagination, he was a very dreamy kind of a guy who, in his imagination, he had already joined the army when he went to the NCC. And it made so much difference for him, because he seems to have enjoyed every minute of the IMA. And it is tough. IMA for a new chap is tough.
Right.
But he enjoyed it because he had already got used to things in the NCC. So that is, and as far as the NCC is concerned, I think it is a stepping stone for all who love the armed forces to join the mainstream and become officers in the army. That is one point. The other is, even if they don't join the army, they become first-class citizens. I mean, we require people who have some notion of discipline, who have honesty, integrity, these basic values. That is what the NCC imparts to the young children. Otherwise, they are rudderless and they go here and there and do wrong things. So, I'm glad that the NCC is doing such a good job in the country. Wherever you go, you find a distinct difference between a boy who's from the NCC and a normal college boy. And I'm glad that that such a nice thing is happening, and it should prosper more. I mean, it should expand more.
Okay, sir, can you please tell us about how and why Captain Vijayant joined the 2nd Battalion of Rajputana Rifles, and also known as Tololing Battalion?
Tololing Battalion, yeah, okay. So that's the main story for which I have come here. And just before addressing all of you or talking to you, I have addressed the young officers of the Indian Army at the infantry school. Just I'm coming from there. So this is a very good point that you have raised. Actually, Tololing is a mountain. It's a very huge mountain in the area of Dras, Kargil and Dras. The national highway, the road joining from Srinagar, Jozila and coming on to Dras, Kargil and goes to Leh. And all our supplies come along this road. As it is in November, this road used to close. So the Pakistanis thought that if they are able to cut this road, then we will be put in such an embarrassing situation where we won't be able to do our winter stocking for the troops who are deployed in Leh, Ladakh and Siachen and all those places. And then we will have to perforce come to terms with Pakistan. And what Pakistan was looking was a revenge for what had happened in Siachen. And they would have revenged themselves. So this, what they did, of course, there is no justification for our failure not to find out. But what they did was that during the acute months of winter, when in those areas the temperature is minus 30, 40 degrees and human existence is not possible. So there was some kind of a understanding between both the armies that when the extreme winters come, both come down. And when the winters are over, we go back and occupy our posts. But this time Musharraf had a lot of mischief in his mind. So what he did, he had trained forces, equipped them very well to withstand that winter, and when we came back, he sent these troops up and they occupied those empty posts. Once the top posts were occupied by them, the terrain is so difficult and it is very impossible to negotiate that terrain. They also thought, or they assumed, out of the results of their own failed attacks in Siachen, 3 times they had attacked our places in Siachen and they failed miserably. So they thought that once we have occupied these positions, the Indian army will not be able to evict us from here. But that was a terribly wrong assumption, because the Indian army was made of tougher fiber than whatever they thought. And they made it possible for us to turn the tables. Also, I'd like to say that though this was kind of an impossible situation, it was made possible and we turned the tables on Pakistan because the young officers, the youth and the soldiers, they could turn the tables when we were in a very, very bad situation. We were caught by surprise. So, all the credit goes to the young officers. Their soaring spirits, their devotion to duty, their dedication to the task that was given to them, and their sense of izzat, their own izzat, and unit's izzat, the nation's izzat, was so what we call honor, and their valor, and mostly their physical fitness, very good physical fitness, and there's no doubt about their having wedded themselves to the mission that was given to them. Tololing was the manifestation of those spirits. Remember that the Tololing attack, Tololing was such a strong position that 3 attacks on Tololing were repulsed. Full-blooded attacks were repulsed. And the Indian army had not even got one victory till that day. In the Kargil Operation Vijay, not even one. So there was a feeling of despondency and failure that had overtaken. But then came 2 Rajref and they were given the task to capture and reduce Tololing. Now, they were able to do it on the night of 12th and 13th. And when you think about how they were able to do it, when the other attacks had failed, then there are other reasons also. But the main reason was that they had excellent leadership. The leadership I spoke to you about of the young officers. Excellent. That was the only word. From the CO downwards, the leadership was amazing. And that is what you all are getting injected with. Good leadership. You will also one day possibly be in such situation. So, the attack went in and the attack was a very difficult attack. The CO had thought that the earlier attacks had failed, right?
Yes.
And the terrain has not changed. The same terrain, same objectives. So we have to do something more than high morale, high spirits and all these things. We won't be able to capture Tololing with that. So they sat down with his senior officers. They did a brainstorming session and they came out with an idea. Let us surprise the enemy. Okay. So how to surprise him? What he did was that the 2 companies were attacking on 2 different spurs. One was on the northwestern side and one was on the one was in the southwestern side and the other was in the southeastern side, like this. So what he did, he staggered the time, 1 hour difference between the two. When the attack started, the company on the left, they went up and the enemy thought that this is where the main attack is going to come. This is where 2 Rajraf is going to put the main effort. So they lifted their people from the Tololing top and other places. They lifted heavy weapons and brought them this side. That is when Major Vivek Gupta, who had been going up gradually with his company, creeping up, he attacked. And he found them weak. When he found them weak, he attacked them and he captured an area called Flat between the two peaks. Once he captured Flat, then it opened another avenue for him to attack. And he immediately exploited that and he started attacking Tololing top from the area of Flat. It was it's a very good decision making. You must all remember that decision making is a cardinal function of the leaders. They have to make decisions. Gupta made that very fine decision that let me change the direction of attack, go this way. And he went up and by midnight the company had captured Tololing top. But in the bargain, he was killed because he was leading from the front. We lost a real hero at that point of time. And then the attack on the other side was also going on. Though it had been stalled, but it was going on. And gradually they went up to the highest point, that is called 0.4590. But since the enemy had moved his heavy weapons and some men, they had occupied another place south of this point, which was called the Barbad Bunker. Okay, Barbad Bunker. And they occupied it. We captured the whole lot of the Tololing complex, but with Barbad bunkers held by the enemy, it was a dangerous situation for us. So Barbad bunker had to be captured. And that is when the decision taken by Colonel Rabindranath, who was the CO, he is famous. He took the decision that I must attack it now because I cannot wait till tomorrow. He attacked it with Alpha Company and then that's where Vijayant went in and captured that, overran that place called Barbad Bunker. They shot dead 2 or 3 Pakistanis over there and rest ran away. So Tololing, there are some funny instances also there also. When they had gone up, both Vijayant and Acharya, it was very cold. So they were looking for some shelter to protect themselves. And as it happened, they entered a shelter which turned out to be a ration store of the Pakistanis. Full of good rations. So fatafat they cut open 2 or 3 butter tins, they lit a fire and at least from the cold the protection was there. Then Robin took this milkmaid tins, foreign, and a lot of good fruits and mixed it up and made a pudding out of it. And both of them had a good pudding. And so sweetly the Battle of Tololing was won by us. It was called the turning point of the war. It was the first victory of the Indian Army in the Kargil operations. And the whole nation was electrified by that victory. And that is why they started calling the battalion the Tololing Battalion. So it's a very proud achievement. And they got so many medals. They got 4 Mahavir Chakras, they got 6 Vir Chakras, they got 7 Vir Chakras, then they got so many theatre honours, they got battle honours, they got unit citation immediately. So that is about the Battle of Battle of Tololi.
Sir, can you please tell us how Captain Thapar sacrificed his life in Battle of Tololing?
No. So after the battle was over, so everybody thought now it's over. But they gave to Rajaref another task to capture another peak that is called Knoll. That was 15 days apart. Knoll was a very dangerous kind of a place. I think that mountain called Knoll is the ugliest mountain that I have ever seen. It is a bland mountain top, jagged rocks, 80 degrees gradient, and I wish I could show you some of the pictures. It was very, very difficult to go there and at night carry out that attack. So they had planned to, there is only one ridge, one narrow ridge running up to Knoll top. And on both sides of the ridge are deep crevices, thousands of feet deep. If you go, you are finished. So along that ridge line, they had to attack. You cannot do anything else because there's no other way to go. So they came. I will not go very deep into the battle because that will take a long time. But that night, there was a place called Kajal, which was 900 meters from Knoll. And from Kajal, they were giving fire support. And on the side of Kajal, Vijayant was forming up with his company for leading the attack. There was a huge and terrifying artillery fire opened by our artillery. Very heavy firing. But what the enemy did, he used to go at the back. And there were caves and there were crevices. He will go and hide in there. And when the bombardment was over, he'll come again. So when Vijayant was going into the forming up place from where they are released to go and attack, one salvo of the Pakistanis landed on them. And that salvo killed a few people. It wounded a lot of people. Among those who died was his very dear buddy. You know, you have a very strong relationship with your buddy. His name was Last Naik Jagmal Singh. He was killed and he was lying there. Then Vijayant went and saw. He was in a state of shock. So as young officers, you will have to come across such situations where you find your very near and dear friends killed or mutilated, legs blown off and things like that. So these are real things of the battlefield. He could not believe and he stood by Jagmal Singh trying to wake him up or, shake him up. And then his JCO, Man Singh, he came and gave him one on his back. He says, "What are you doing? This is not the time for this sentimentality. We have to go and attack." Chaliye Saab. And then he collected his men, 18, 19 men he collected. Others had gone into the rocks, hidden themselves here and there. And with those people, he went down into the Tololing Nala. So once you have gone down, the effect of artillery is very limited. I mean, artillery could not hit him. But what happened was that he was going in this direction, on the north-south direction. He went down, artillery went with him. This was left blank. So his company commander, Major Acharya, said, "This is the time." And he attacked straight. And he captured a Pakistani bunker on Knoll. But just as he was going for the second bunker, from somewhere a grenade came right in front of it, fell, blasted him, killed. So by that time, Vijayant, we used to call him lovingly Robin, had gone up. He had reached behind the enemy. And then he was so keen, so young he was, so keen, that he came back again, that no, I must take part in the attack with my company. And he joined them there. And that is when, despite telling all the men not to tell Vijayant that his company commander had been killed, they told him. That was the last straw. He used to love his company commander. He used to idolize him. And therefore the news struck him like a boulder on his head. He used to lovingly call Acharya, his company commander, Tau. So when he came to know, he could not tolerate it. And he got so angry that he went in to attack the Pakistanis. So they cleared Knoll, and just beyond Knoll is the huge and mighty mountain called Three Pimples. It has got three pimples. It is joined with Knoll through a narrow neck, and on that side was the bunker, just 25 meters away. I used to go there every year. Just 25 meters away was the Pakistani bunker. And there was fierce exchange of fire between both. At one time, they were गालियाँ भी निकाल रहे थे, गोलियाँ भी मार रहे थे. तो Pakistani yelled at them, काफिरों तुम क्या लड़ोगे, तुम भाग जाओ. And Vijayant and his party said, तुम BC, तुम्हारा तो भागने का भी टाइम खत्म, अभी तुम्हारा जनाजा यहाँ से जाएगा. So इस तरह से हुआ. And then Vijayant came to the decision that that particular bunker which is in front is impeding their advance.
So sir, जैसा आपने बताया कि सर एक 4th जनरेशन आर्मी ऑफिसर थे और मैंने पढ़ा था कि उनकी दादी माँ ने उनका वीर चक्र रिसीव करा था प्रेसिडेंट से. तो सर व्हाट वुड बी द पीस ऑफ एडवाइस यू विल लाइक टू गिव to the parents of the Amrit Kal cadets?
They have done the best thing to send their children to the NCC. And as soon as your NCC is over, or even during your C certificate, you pass and join the armed forces. Look, I want to tell you one thing. There are a lot of misapprehensions about the life in the army. I have lived in the army worked in the army for 37 years. Let me tell you that given the choice again, I will join the armed forces. Now you ask me why.
Why, sir?
Yeah, okay. Firstly, it is a different life. It's an altogether different life. You will all agree with me. This is not a life for the commoner who wants to just live his life and go. But for somebody who wants to do something, it's not necessary that there should be a war every time, but the armed forces gives you the opportunity to develop yourself like no other career gives you. There is sports, there is academics, there is promotion examinations, there is everything. So you have to grow and you become a better individual. Plus, the life is a very special kind of a life. In a cantonment you live, clean life, no garbad, and disciplined way you live. You are looked after, you become comrades. Comrades is like a bigger family. You have here only one or two friends, but when you go there, you are a part of a family of 26, 27 officers. They are like your brothers and all. So it's a very different kind of a life. It gives you a challenge. Now you told me that other cadet, what's his name?
Deepak Panchal.
He's gone for para jumps.
Yes, sir.
So that's the kind of why do you want to do that para jump? Why do you want to do? You want to discover your own strength.
Yes.
You will come to know that yes, I am capable of doing this. Okay, and that's what the opportunities the armed forces give: mountaineering, riding, swimming, having healthy food, healthy environment, and everything that you want. What else do you want? I mean, and then there is another misconception about the pay and allowances in the army. The salaries in the army are so good that you cannot even imagine what kind of salaries and allowances a young captain gets. If he were he may be in the enforcers, he may be anywhere else. He will not get that kind of pay and allowances. So salary wise also, it is extremely good. And then you get pension, you get post-retirement benefits. So you must all think positively and opt for the armed forces. You have already halfway through. You are wearing uniforms, you are been taught the value of discipline and everything. So you must go. Why not? No?
Sir, it is rightly said that other careers will give you a job and army will give you a life.
Well, that's very well said. I say that actually army is a way of life. It is not just a profession. It is a bit of a passion, you know. You are somebody special.
Yes.
You are wearing the uniform of the country and the people look up to you all the time.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Sir, according to you, what all lessons and qualities Amrit Kal ke NCC cadets should learn from Captain Vijayant and his personality?
Oh yes, this I will tell you. First of all, he was a very, very pleasant human being. He would, anyone who has come to make any podcast or feature on him, they are always starting from the topmost people like NDTV and all. They think that he was always, there's a smile on his face, always. And that was very captivating. He was very well made, powerful boy, a powerful human being. And then you must learn the quality of basic qualities which not only Vijayant, everyone should have. That is honesty, integrity, purpose in life. Unless you have a certain purpose, what they call a dream, what are you going to live for? So those are the things. He was a dreamer, total dreamer. He would dream. In fact, if you come home and see, his first love was the Air Force. So he had made on his wall, on his cupboard, he had made the view which a fighter pilot sees through his cockpit with paint and all clouds and and then that cockpit he had made, he would sit down on his chair and then fly the aircraft. And so that was the kind of dream he had always, to join the force. Have a dream and live up to achieving that dream. And fear. Fear is something that is natural. It is a part of your human makeup. There is nobody who can say that I have no fear. Okay? You may be afraid to die. You may not be afraid to die, but you may be afraid of failure. You may be afraid of heights. He may be afraid of, oceans. So there is a fear of one type or another. And let me tell you that merely absence of fear is not courage. Okay? So what is courage? Courage is the capability, whatever fear you have in you, to overcome that and still carry on with your mission. That is courage. You got fear. Everyone has got fear. When I went first time to Kargil and saw those mountains, my God, I was afraid. But I went there, and after fifth or sixth visit, it became all right. It's like, so don't be worried about fear. Mostly people are very afraid of another kind of fear. Let me share it with you. That is fear of failure. A lot of fear is there. I won't be able to do it. But he does it. He did the para jumps. Can you say that he wouldn't have little fear in him? Everyone has. So that is the kind of thing. You overcome it and then you become courageous. So those are the things. Basically, he was a very honest man. And one thing that you can learn from him, I'm going to give you that mantra, and that is, nobody can be a good officer unless first he is a good man, good human being. Only if he is a good human being, he can become a good officer.
ओके सर सर जैसा कि अब हम दिल्ली डायरेक्टरेट में चल रहा है कि हम अमृत काल की एनसीसी के अंदर कैडेट्स को ऐसा ट्रेन करते हैं कि वो एनसीसी के बाद भी चाहे वो किसी भी प्रोफेशन में हो, जैसे डांस स्पोर्ट्स वगैरह किसी में भी हो, वो नेशन को सर्व करे लाइक कैप्टन विजयंत थापा. तो सर what would be the piece of advice you would like to give to the Amrit Kal cadets or the Gen Z cadets?
नहीं, वो तो देखिए, अमृत काल is going on now.
Yes.
And before that and after Amrit Kal also, cadets will be there. So the basic qualities will remain unchanged. You must see nation first. Always. Always the nation has to be your first. And anything that is required of you to make sure that the nation, no such activity or thing must happen that will damage the nation's image or that will damage the nation itself. So you must always be nation-centric. You must be proud of being an Indian. You must be proud of India. Now, why you must, with your own efforts, try to take India 2-3 steps above what it is now. I ask you this question. You want to go to Canada? You want to go to Canada?
No, sir.
No. But there are people, whole long line of queue of people who want to go to Canada, who want to go to USA, who want to go to... अरे भाई, देश में कौन रहेगा और देश का कौन करेगा उच्चार. तो इसलिए आप देश के बारे में सोचें. About your country, it comes first above everything. Today, people like you are required even on small things like environment, cleanliness, discipline. See the way the traffic goes. So that is what the role of the NCC should be, to put this into the rest of the people.
So we would like you to address parents as a father of Shaheed NCC cadet and army officer. And what will you give advice to the cadets now and who are already in army forces? What will you advise to the parents of them?
No, I've told already that you have done very well to send your wards to the NCC. You have done extremely well to allow them to go to the armed forces or encourage them to go to the armed forces. And you will find that when they come home, you will be proud of them. Look, I am Colonel Vijyant Thapar, but I am better known as the father of Captain Vijyant Thapar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I am very proud of it because of his acts. Some kind of certain amount of credit comes to me also as his father. Now, I want all of you, all, to whatever profession you are in or in the armed forces, do things that your parents are also known as parents of X, Y or Z. Now, that's a great satisfaction to the parents. A loss is there, but let me tell you about this loss also. If it is not my son, it will be your son, his son, somebody else's son. So sons have to fight. Otherwise, Pakistan will come and take away half of India. So, we cannot export this. This problem is there. We cannot outsource it to America. Our sons have to do it. So, there's no loss. There is a great feeling of obligation in the whole nation. As far as Vijayant is concerned, if you come to Noida, then nothing more that can be done to keep his memory alive. Bhagat Singh went at the age of 22 and he is remembered for 122 years and he will be continued to be remembered for 1,000 years. He is living for 1,000 years. Otherwise, a few years more doesn't add much to your life. Here, what I want to tell you is that the day you are born, that day is fixed. Born on so and so date. The same day, God has ordained the day you must go. Me, you, him, that date has been fixed. You all know it. In between is a time for you to do something that people will remember you, nation will remember you, or it's not only but you would have done your role. Okay? So, as a good Indian, as a great Indian. So, that's what I want. You know what Vijayant said? His mantra for life. He told us, live life king size.
Yes, sir.
Okay? So, that is the mantra. He lived up to that mantra. So, I think you all can also think about it. And all of you must read his letter, last letter. And I have written a book. This is the book I have written, Vijyant at Kargil. It is also available in Hindi, Kargil mein Vijyant. Or it is also what you call that e-book. It is also an audio book. So whatever you choose. For the smaller children, a Chitravali has been made, which is being shown to you. And then most of all, I would like all of you to read that letter. It is a source of inspiration for every Hindustani, including myself. I am his father. But whenever I feel something not going as per then I read that letter. I get inspiration. And a lot of people write to me. A lot of ladies write to me that, so much so, let me tell you, so many people have named their sons Vijayant. So many. It gives me so much satisfaction.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming to our platform. It was very motivating for us, for you. Thank you so much, sir.
My pleasure, absolutely. Whenever you need me, just call me. I'll come again and have another session with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I am very happy to be among the NCC lot. And here's a picture of Vijayant as a NCC Cadet, 2nd Battalion. He's getting some prize.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jai
Hind and Jai Bharat.
पंजाब के लेफ्टिनेंट विजयंत थापर, जिन्होंने युद्ध में जाने से पहले अपने घर वालों को खत लिखा था कि अगर फिर से मेरा जन्म हुआ तो मैं एक बार फिर सैनिक बनना चाहूंगा और अपनी मातृभूमि के लिए मैदानी जंग में भी मैं लड़ना चाहूंगा।